Porsche Hypercar in VR. Hello there everyone and welcome to OpaFed Gaming. You are driving shotgun with the OpaFed in a Porsche 917 Living Legend. We're driving it in the World Touring Car 800 and we're driving it at the 24 Hours Du Mans racetrack. We're doing 5 laps. We start at 20th of 20 cars and we started with a rolling start. These laps, 5 of them, are pretty long. They're going to take a while to do. And I know for a fact that we cannot do all 5 laps on one tank full of fuel, so neither will anybody else. So we do have to do a pit stop, 1 or 2. One of the most important things I do believe when you're driving in a race like this, and you know you got to go into the pits to fuel up and or change your tires, I think it's really important in the first lap to see exactly where the entrance to the pit stop is. Because I've been accused before of passing it, missing it accidentally when I needed fuel. So let's make sure we know where the entrance is. Now after that, we know that you could probably do about 3 laps on one tank. However, with the throttling up and down that we do and the braking, you might use a little bit of extra fuel, or when you stomp on it to go by them like this, you're using more fuel than normal. So 3 laps is touch and go. But however, that puts us in a little bit of a pickle because we got 5 laps. So that means we're going to have to stop in for fuel twice. So I think what we're going to do today is we're going to do 2 laps, fuel up, do 1 lap, fuel up again, and then do the last 2 laps and see how that works for us. That's the plan. We'll change the tires while we're at it too, thereby keeping optimal traction on the track and giving us the best opportunities to win. Now this race, I've driven this track many times and I've gotten quite familiar with the track. So using the whole track, going from side to side, slowing down around corners like this, I've gotten a little bit better at with this particular track. It is one of my top 5 tracks that I like in Gran Turismo. It's very enjoyable to drive. You've got straight sections where you can let her go. This here section in particular just curves a little bit, so you can go fast, but you have to watch for the cars because they do go from one side of the track to the other around the little curved parts. So you got to keep an eye out for that. Now with 5 laps, you know, we got lots of time. We've already been passing cars. We got lots of time to try and win the race, but you don't want to try and win the race in the first lap. So we are just going to go as hard as we can, and then when we get to some of these here little corners and curvy sections, we're just going to stick behind the car in front of us and wait for our opportunity like this for a straight section so we can go and rip by him again. You know, and with that in mind, that is the way we're going to try and drive this race. Try and keep it clean, you know, do the best we can. This here particular corner, I always kind of overshoot to the left a little bit. I did okay that time. So when we're coming around here, we're getting close to the end of the first lap, so we want to pay attention to where the entrance to the pits are. Now if you look on the right hand side of the track, there will be a blue section of pavement coming up on the right hand side, right here. When that blue section ends, there's the entrance to the pit stop. So remember that, because we got to go in there next time around. So we're finishing our first lap with these 2 quick little S turns here, and then we're back past the grandstand, having finished 1. 4 laps to go. 1 lap to go before we go in and fuel up. So now we know that this next little section is going to be kind of hard to pass anybody, so we're not going to bother even trying. We're just going to stay behind them, stay with them until we get to the straight section on the other side. And that's where we'll make our move and we'll grab a couple of them again and get a little bit further ahead in the pass. We don't want to wait too long because, like I've mentioned many times before, the front of the pack seems to run away a little bit on you if you if you're complacent and you stay behind a bunch of cars when you could have actually passed them. You don't want that gap between car number one and you to get bigger than it already is. You want that gap to get a little bit smaller. So here now we're in the straight section. We got a little bit of an S-turn, S-curvy thing coming up here. And these guys, they tend to use the whole track, but they usually go to the left-hand side because except for when they want to block you out like they're doing right now, which is okay. Let them try and block you out, because I know these guys are going to go through this little section, and when they come out of it and you get to the straight section on the other side of it, coming up right over here, they all tend to kind of move over to the right hand side, okay, just like that, and then you can get by them. The reason they move over to the right hand side is because there's another little S-curve section coming up that makes you turn to the left. So they all want to be on this side. Why they have to go there right away is beyond me, but okay. Because when they do, they leave room for me to shoot by them. So coming through this, like I said before, you know, slow down so you can take the corners properly. Wait till you come out of the corner and straighten out a little bit, and then you can hammer down a little bit again. Now there's only a short straight section, if you have time. If you're right behind somebody, you can pass it, because there's time. If you would have waited a little bit, there would not have been enough time, because you don't want to rip by this last guy now and then run off the end of the track here when you know you got to slow down to make the corner. You're better off just to make the corner first, now go by. Now you got the time, and it's straight, so it makes it a little bit easier. So we're coming up about halfway, I'd say, of the second lap. Like I said, it's going to take a while to do, but this is such a wonderful car to drive. It's just, I absolutely love it. It has a great growl to it, and it handles like you wouldn't believe. It sticks to the road, it takes the corners really nicely. You know, like I said though, you do have to throttle down. I mean, if you go too fast, it'll spin out or overshoot the corners like any other car. So you do have to beware and be careful in the way you drive it. Okay, so here we are. Now we're coming back, and we're gonna get this guy too, just before we finish our second lap. We might as well try and improve our situation the best we can. Boy, the graphics on this race are fantastic. The gameplay, I just think, is awesome. See, except for the Opafet right in that corner, I told you, I always overshoot it a little bit. I don't know what it is. Every time, and I've driven this track so many times that it's just unbelievable that I still do that. But I do. So here we're coming through these little turns, and remember what I said. There's a little section of blue pavement coming up on the right-hand side, and just past that is where the entrance to the pit stop will be. Then we can check our display and see exactly what's happening and where we're at. Now you do have to be careful coming around this corner here. There we go. Okay. Now we came in fifth, and we got 1, 2, and 3 are already in the pits. Okay, my tires on the left-hand side, you can see a little bit of red. Let's change them anyhow. If you look at the fuel gauge, where in the middle of the screen, there's a little white dot on the top of the fuel gauge. Now that little white dot shows you how much fuel you need to finish the race. So in actuality, if I have a full tank, I should be able to finish the last 3 laps. But if you start throttling too much, like I said, you won't have enough fuel. Okay, so let's keep an eye on what position we are when we leave. 13th, it looks like. 13th. So we got 12 cars in front of us now, instead of 19 when we started. But you got to remember one thing. Only the cars that are in front of me with a full tank are a threat. Anybody that's on the track that has half a tank that still has to stop, they're going to end up being behind me because they haven't stopped for fuel yet at their pit stop like we have, and these guys in front of me have. So keep that in mind. We've gone 2 laps. We're on our 3rd lap. After this 3rd lap, we're going to go back in and fuel up again. See if that strategy works for us. Now, we don't have to worry too much about the rearview mirror, although we do want to keep an eye on it, because you never know. Cars can rip up behind you and get past you. And we'd have to also keep an eye on these guys trying to block you out. I'm not going to go and try and squeeze by, because if I do that and he happens to move over when I'm trying to squeeze by, you could end up in an accident and he could spin you out and your race would basically be done. Because if you spin out at this point of the game, these races are so fast that these guys would be gone and you'd never catch them again. So we're just gonna be patient, stay behind them until they move over, and then we're gonna rip by them, put them behind us. Now I do believe we have most of the vehicles behind us, but we will see when we get into the pit stop when we see our display again. Coming through the little S curve, like I said, it shows you, if you use the whole track, you don't have to brake as much, you don't have to slow down as much. Now we got a car up ahead of us there. We're going to try and catch him. We won't pass him before we get to the point, but we got to turn back down again. So we'll just stay behind him and wait for our opportunity. I don't know what number car this is, so it makes no difference. If he's in front of us, he's further ahead than we are, which means he's got to be behind us. There he is, behind us. And as we come ripping through the corner here, I thought I saw a couple of cars up in front of us there too. See, there's a few there. So we're just going to keep going, trying to catch up to them anyhow. Whether we get past them or not, that's besides the point. Because this lap is quickly coming to a close, and we'll have to stop in the pit stop again for fuel, for the final push of the last 2 laps of the race. Boy, I sure enjoy this race. It's an awesome race to run. I know I keep saying that, but it just never ceases to amaze me how beautiful this game is. And I really do appreciate it, and I love playing it. And I hope that you enjoy watching it as much as I love playing it. Maybe give it a shot yourselves, especially in VR. It is just fantastic. It's like you're really in the car. It can be raining outside and it can be snowing, but if you're driving in a race like this with a clear blue sky, it's summer for you. Okay, we're coming up to the end of lap number 3 as we're cruising through the corners here. Trying to take my treble cornered properly. Well, that was a little bit better than the last one. Well, we got 2 more corners to go like that. And we never know what's going to happen. But that's the fun part about it, So here we are, finishing the first lap, the 3rd lap, sorry. The first lap on the new tank. And we're going to go in and fuel up again. Get ready for the final push. Take it easy around the corner here, and I think we'll change the tires again too. Okay, so we came in number 6, and there's 2 people in the pits with us, and 3 not. So those 3 kept on going, and anybody that's in front of us is going to have to go into the pits probably next time around. Now we're dropping position quick because we're 9th now, and now we're 10th. Wow, I tell you, I sure hope that this strategy works out for me. As you can see now, the tank, in the fuel tank, the little white dot above the bar is just at the end. So I don't think we could do 2 laps with that. So we'll just get a little bit more. Fill the tank up. Let's go. Okay. Lap, we left number 13. Lap number 4. So we got 12 cars to pass. Now, one thing you got to remember, the 12 cars that we got to pass are on the track and in the pit stop when we go by after this lap. If you can follow my line of thinking. Because not all 12 cars that we need to pass will be on the track at the time. So, because everybody is going in for fuel at different times. I hope that makes sense. Anyhow, we're coming around that little pointy corner there, and we're heading down the straight section again where we can let it go. Seeing as how we got more fuel, we got enough extra that we don't have to worry about running out. But it doesn't look like there's anybody on the track here. Oh no, there's somebody up there. I can see a car way in the distance, so we're just gonna have to keep ripping until we catch up to them. Here we go. Slower down around the corners. Use the full width of the track. There's two cars up there. Okay, we're gonna try and catch them and see if we can get them before we start heading back down at the end of this straight section. No, we're gonna get them before that next little S curve. There we go. Okay. Wow, we sure left it in our dust. This Porsche is just, I don't know, it's just fantastic. I just love driving it. I love driving this Porsche. Okay, is that another two cars? Oh, climbed the curb a little bit there. See, we're getting a little bit erratic because we are wanting to catch up to those guys. So I'm not using the track the way I should be. That's okay, I noticed it. So we're going to try and correct that next time around. Okay, so we got three cars in front of us here. Now I did not keep count of, oh, and there's another one way up ahead. So I didn't keep count of how many we passed and what number we would be right now. So the only advice I can give you when you're not sure is just keep going. Just keep going as hard as you can. See how we get by him, and we couldn't see that car up there, and there's another one up ahead. So it's really not, I'm not positive where we are in position, but we've got to be getting near the top. There's three cars in front of us here. Here we go. Coming up to them. We're not going to be able to pass them. Not until we get to, oh, well, we got a little bit of room here. We were too far behind them. I don't know, we might not be able to catch them in time. Well, no, we were thinking of maybe go on the inside here. No, there's not quite enough room. Not quite enough room. I don't want to take a chance on trying to squeeze through anywhere. I don't want to do that. Trying to drive as clean a race as possible. Okay, so we'll stay behind them and we'll get them. We've got time down by the grandstand. That's the very next straight section. Unless they go into the pits for fuel. You never know. I mean, they need to get fuel too, at least once in this race. So we'll wait and see. Okay. Pit entrance is right here, and nobody stopped in. Okay, so that means that they got enough fuel for the rest of this race, which is only one more lap, and we got to get by them, because if they happen to be in front of us, that means that we're not going to win. They're in front of us physically, but in front of them as far as position on the race is concerned is what I meant. Okay, we got one more car here, and I do believe he might be the lead car. So, as we're ripping up behind him, we can't pass him anywhere along here. Well, we can't pass him until we catch up to him, which is going to take us a few more seconds, but we'll be right behind him here. Then, looks like a white Viper. White Viper. Get up to this point here. Now we got a straight section. We can just let it rip. We should, just in case that there's more cars on the track in front of this guy that we had passed. But I think he was number one, which now puts us in the lead position. And we can just let her rip, because if we're number one and there's no cars on the track, we can use the full track to our advantage. And we don't have to slow down for any of these other cars. See, here we go. Rip through these corners. We don't have to slow down too much. Just in case that there's somebody way up ahead, you gotta keep going. You can't wait or hold up or slow down or any of that. You just gotta keep going until you see the checkered flag. Wow, this has been a long race, boy, I'll tell you. It's really a lot of fun to drive, but you got to have the patience to be able to go 5 laps and figure out your strategy for your pit stop so you can have enough fuel to last the 5 laps, because she's a long ways to go. You know, when you get up at the end of this here section to the top and you take that tight turn to the right, that's about halfway. So we got half a lap left to go. And like I keep saying, I do think that we are the lead car, because otherwise I'm sure we would have run into another car already, you know, but we haven't seen anything. So that's okay. Cut the track the way we should, going from side to side. We're gonna flow through these corners. This 917 living legend. What a car to drive. If you have the opportunity, do it, because I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And here we're coming up to the last little section. Okay, one straight section, then a few curves, and we're done. We're at the end. And I do believe we're going to be winning this one. Putting another one in the win column for the Opafed. It's been a wonderful race. I really enjoyed this one. If you have any comments, please drop us a note in the section below. In the comments section, I guess, eh? And let us know if you like this one and what you liked about it. And maybe there's another car that you would like to see me drive in VR, and put it out here so you can see what it's like. I'd be happy to oblige if we will find the time one way or another to put it in there. Now we're coming up to the end of the race here, and I haven't seen any more cars. Once we go through those 2 little S curves, we'll be at the grandstand, and that's the end. What a race, what a game. I really enjoyed this one. And I hear some thunder coming. We don't see any bad weather yet, but it's going to be coming. Hope you have a great day, and see you back here real soon. You've been racing with the Opafed.